Good morning and welcome to the Real Outdoors, where I share my outdoor adventures and review the gear that will help get you out there. It is a balmy 23 degrees here in West Virginia, where we begin our next hunting adventure for the year. Mike and I are heading up the mountain to set up his stand. Hopefully we see some deer sign along the way. I got my stand all set up yesterday. Saw plenty of sign there, so fingers crossed we have a good one. Be sure to click that red subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the notifications bell so you get notified of all our latest content and our next adventures in the outdoors. So let's climb this mountain. That's a good size rub on the way to Mike's stand. I don't know why he doesn't set a stand up here, but I can almost get my fingers around it. Whew. He's rubbed a lot off of that. Well, it's opening day in West Virginia. I've seen 2 does so far. Both came down at separate times. They both seem to be concerned with something up behind the hill behind me, which is where they came from. But, I don't know. Came down, ate some corn, and left in opposite directions. There is so much deer sign around this stand. Lots of rubs and scrapes. I'm really hoping I see the buck that is making all that sign. But nothing yet so far. But a beautiful morning nonetheless. All right, here I am with my first West Virginia buck. He was a scrapper. He's got 1, 2, 3 broken off tines. Basically an 8-pointer, kind of more like a 7 with this broken off tine. But it was awesome. I mean, he walked in right under my old tree stand, which I was always afraid was part of the issue with me not seeing bucks here, is that I was on their travel corridor. And that's exactly where he walked, right along the bench, right underneath my old stand, right up to the feeder. And then he stood behind a tree for what seemed like forever, eating corn under the feeder. I was in my stand behind me there and just getting myself ready. As soon as I saw him walking up, I knew I was going to take him. I mean, he's amazing. A real West Virginia mountain buck, a real scrapper. I'm so excited. This is my 8th year hunting in West Virginia, and it's my first buck that I've taken. It's my first deer. I haven't even shot a doe. So Now we've got some work to do. Let's get him to the house.
Well, I got him down the mountain. It's my first time ever having to drag a deer out of a mountain. He nearly tackled me coming down. I think he was trying to pay me back. That's a lot of hard work. And I was going downhill. I'm gonna head back to the house down the road here. Pick up a wheeler to come pick him up. I'm not far from the house, but I really don't want to drag him anymore. Holy Moses. He's a big old boy. A lot bigger than Texas deer, I can tell you that. Whew.
Well, that's it for my West Virginia hunt. I was successful in getting my first buck in West Virginia. I just have to mention a couple things that I think contributed to my success. So one, I built that box blind because I've always wanted a box blind to keep myself a little warmer, but I actually moved it from one end of my hunting area to the other. And that put me in a better wind position, but I think it also moved me off the travel corridor. As I mentioned, that buck walked in right underneath my old stand. After doing some investigation, you can see a rub line all the way through my hunting area, all the way to below my old stand, and then it kind of dives down the mountain to another bench where I'm pretty sure is his bedding area. That also told me that the way I was coming in, which was behind my old stand along the bench, was also part of his travel corridor. And this year I switched up the way I come to the stand, kind of because of where I'd moved and put the box blind. I put it further up the hill so I could come right up behind it, and that's what I did. It was a little more difficult, but I went up the mountain, kind of created my own little switchback trail up there, but it's an area where you never see any deer, so I was approaching the blind from a different direction. I think that really contributed. I wasn't bumping deer. I normally bump deer when I went to my old stand. I didn't do that this year. I didn't bump any deer on my way into the blind. So I think those two things, moving the stand to a better wind location off of the travel corridor and how you approach the stand, really made a difference for me this year. I really feel like that resulted in more deer activity, and like I said, that buck would have never come down that bench underneath my old stand if that's where I had still been sitting. Just some things to consider, some things I learned about that particular hunting area in West Virginia. Hope you enjoyed joining me on this adventure. 8 years to get my first buck. I'm so excited. Couldn't be happier. Donated the buck, the meat, to a family in need, so that makes it feel even better. If you like this, give me a thumbs up. Be sure to click that red subscribe button, and I look forward to seeing you in the real outdoors.